The Boy Who Turned Scars into Stars. Chapter 1. The Weight of Dust. Arjun's world was painted in browns, the cracked earth of his village, the faded saris drying on rusted lines, the relentless haze of summer that clung to his skin like a second layer. At 8 years old, he learned to ration hope the way his mother rationed rice, one handful at a time. His father's rickshaw, its yellow paint peeling, was a fixture outside their shack. Every dawn, Arjun watched him leave, muscles taut against the weight of strangers, while his mother stitched sequins onto bridal lehengas for a workshop that paid in crumbs. School was a 5-kilometer walk under the blistering sun. Arjun's uniform, hand-me-downs from a cousin, itched and sagged. He'd tuck his frayed notebooks under his arm, dodging stray dogs and the taunts of boys in polished shoes. "Barefoot beggar!" they'd jeer. He'd bite his tongue, saving his voice for the evenings when he'd recite lessons to his father, who'd nod solemnly, though he couldn't read a word. Chapter 2. The Teacher's Whisper. By 10th grade, Arjun's grades were a patchwork of C's and D's. He'd nod off in class, his stomach growling, only to jolt awake at the teacher's sharp glance. One day, after a failed algebra test, Mrs. Kapoor, a stern woman with silver spectacles, called him aside. "Open your hands," she ordered. Puzzled, he obeyed. She placed a single rupee coin in his palm. "This is what the world sees," she said. "But what they don't see," she pointed to his calloused fingers, "is that these hands can build kingdoms." That night, under the dim bulb of the tea stall where he worked, Arjun stared at the coin. He began skipping meals to save for a second-hand textbook. When his father found out, he pressed a crumpled 50-rupee note into Arjun's hand. "For the boy who studies by streetlight," he muttered, looking away. Chapter 3. The Storm. At 20, Arjun rented a stall in the village market. He sold clay diyas painted with peacocks, saris dyed indigo by local weavers, and spice blends mixed by his mother. For 6 months he woke at 4 a.m. to arrange his stall, his hands raw from polishing brass. But the day before Diwali, the year's busiest sale, a cyclone tore through the market. Arjun fought to secure his stall, but the wind was a monster. Pots shattered. Sacks of spices dissolved into the mud. He fell to his knees, the taste of salt and turmeric on his lips. A passing vendor kicked a ruined diya. "Ambition is a luxury the poor can't afford," he sneered. That night Arjun lay on the rooftop staring at the stars. His phone buzzed, a notification from an online course he'd half-heartedly joined. How to Start a Digital Business. Free webinar. Chapter 4. The Spark. The webinar introduced Arjun to e-commerce. He sold his last silver bracelet to buy a refurbished laptop. For months, he juggled night shifts at a call center with mastering SEO and Photoshop. His first Etsy order, a set of embroidered pouches, came from a woman in Sweden. "They're beautiful," she wrote, "like holding a piece of the sun." Word spread. A Mumbai boutique placed a bulk order. Then a Dubai-based influencer featured his crafts. Arjun hired 3 villagers, then 10. He rented a warehouse, its walls papered with thank-you notes from customers. Chapter 5. The Return. At 28, Arjun stood on a stage in Mumbai, accepting an award for Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Cameras flashed as he thanked his parents who'd never left the village. "This isn't my story," he said, holding the trophy. "It's theirs." But his greatest triumph came months later. He bought land in his village and built a school, bright classrooms with solar panels, a library stocked with books, and a computer lab. On opening day, he handed scholarships to 50 children. One boy, in a too-big uniform, handed him a clay diya painted clumsily blue. "For you, sir," he mumbled. Arjun knelt, fighting tears. "Keep this fire lit," he said. "The world will try to blow it out. Don't let them." Epilogue: The Unseen Stars. Today, Arjun's company partners with over 300 artisans. His mother runs the school's kitchen, serving hot meals to students. His father, retired, teaches rickshaw drivers to read. And every Diwali, Arjun lights a diya at his stall's old spot, a reminder that storms only clear the way for new light.